Greetings from Kardec Radio, where we are bringing listeners another audiobook, this one entitled Who is Afraid of Death, written by Richard Simonetti. This 16th installment covers Chapter 30, entitled Curious Obsession, and Chapter 31, entitled The Most Important, Enjoy. Chapter 30, Curious Obsession. The afflictions and sorrows that arise from the death of a beloved one. When the powerful resources of prayer and acceptance are not used, may generate many health problems. If we refuse to lead a normal life, taking up the day-by-day routines and cultivating a pleasure for life, we will certainly suffer from physical and psychological disorders. However strange it might sound, the presence of the dead person may contribute to this. Being unprepared for the new realities of spirit life and ignoring his present state, he goes back to his home and tends to associate with the family members through mediumship. That is why many people feel the same symptoms of the disease that afflicted the dead person. If the person died due to severe lung crisis, they feel pain in their chest, oppression, and feel shortness of breath. This happens because the connection established with the dead person transmits impressions, not yet overcome, related to the end of his existence. The dead person acts like a sleepwalker who speaks and hears, feeling disturbed because nobody pays attention to him. Medical treatment might help, but does not solve the problem, because it deals only with the effects without examining the causes. The Spiritist doctrine, which is in the forefront of this subject, offers many resources for the treatment of both parts. The living person benefits in a Spiritist center by receiving a magnetic transfer, passes of the hands, fluidic water, orientation on how to face death, and an objective view about the human existence. The disincarnated person, who is magnetically attached to the sick person, also comes to the meeting and receives valuable assistance from the spiritual benefactors, especially through the communication made possible by the presence of mediums. The contact with the physical energies of the medium gives new strength to the dead person, and they experience moments of lucidity, like someone who has awakened from a long sleep, becoming capable of understanding. This is the end of the obsessive process, involuntarily caused by the disincarnated person in an attempt to seek help, support, and attention. It should be noted that more often than not, the disincarnated person is more obsessed than he is an obsessor. Helpless and unprepared for the spirit life, he is attracted by the family members when they refuse to overcome the anguish from separation, starting a mental fixation process which confuses and holds back the disincarnated person, even when he is willing to follow his way in the spiritual world. Therefore, it is as important to enlighten the spirits who disturb the family as it is to teach the family so as not to disturb the spirits. Chapter 31, the most important. Should we tell a terminal patient about his situation? Doesn't he have the right to know that he is sentenced to death, that he is about to die? Wouldn't this help him prepare for the great transition? These questions are hard to answer, since very few people are willing to face reality with serenity. Fear, insecurity, attachment to physical life and family are some of the common reactions of people before death, causing serious obstacles for the spiritual disconnection, like the dweller of a house in ruins who refuses to admit the need to leave it behind. In the most critical situations, it is common for the patient to create illusions about himself, nurturing the hope that he will get better. This occurs even to very intelligent and literate people, having the total capacity of understanding that they are near the end. As part of a group who renders spiritual assistance, I visited for some time a terminally sick person. He was an elderly gentleman with serious circulatory problems. In spite of being weak and imprisoned in a bed since his last stroke, he showed lucidity and with satisfaction He received us to study the gospel according to Spiritism, to pray, to receive magnetic healing, and to drink the fluidic water. When commenting about the text we had just read, we tried to talk about death, defining it as a letter granting freedom to the spirit. And subtly we emphasized that the elderly are nearer the great transition and should prepare themselves for the return to the spiritual world by cultivating detachment and trust in God. Even without being able to speak, the sick man moved his hands vigorously, trying to mimic the idea that he did not intend to die. On other occasions, while taking care of family members in similar situations, I felt the same resistance. At crucial moments, very near the end, they claimed that their problem was not so bad, and with the help of God, they would get over it. We inevitably concluded that if the sick person does not want to admit their precarious condition, if they resist the prospect of death, if they try to fool themselves with the idea of their recovery, it is better not to counter them. The most important thing is to offer care and attention. Both extremes of life are the same. Just like the newborn, the disincarnating person is extremely dependent with both the physical and emotional levels. They need special care, and above all, they desperately need to feel loved, to know that people worry about them and that they are not considered a burden. There is nothing sadder than a lonesome, terminal patient put into a hospital bed where the people whom they loved most come as visitors. They feel very touched by the person's suffering, but they are always in a hurry because of other commitments. They cannot understand that the most important commitment is to be near that spirit about to leave the earth, offering them the blessings of their presence, their thoughtfulness and consideration.